Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Rings. I'm your host and guide, Zollin Ironshield, as always. And today, I would like to talk about being efficient with your use of stamina and XP leveling up, all right? So there's going to be a balance there, all right? Using your stamina in an efficient way, but at the same time, using it in a way where you upgrade level up the characters and commanders you need for RiseToWar. Okay, this is a RiseToWar Legacy. I'm your host and guide, Zollin Ironshield, as always, like I just said. All right, let us talk about this. I have some great examples real fast. I'm going to make this a real quick video just for new players or people who just need a little refresher. The idea of this video will be a small overview of doing stamina and XP, okay? If you'd like a more in-depth guide, please leave a comment and I will probably make one in the future for you. But if you're happy with this, then maybe, you know, if it's worth, maybe a subscriber or like would be wonderful if you are willing. All right, so what we're gonna do today is mainly your first two things as a newer player or someone who plays a lot is that you really want to focus on greatly. There's a few things that give you experience. We got to talk about experience before we talk about the stamina. Experience, there's a couple things that gives your character experience, right? It's usually combat things or tips, okay? So you're taking a tile, you're doing a sweep of a tile or a mob, or you're doing PvP, right? You're fighting another person's armies. When you do these battles, what happens? It's gonna give you a little bit of experience, right? For your character, this will be for your character, and a little bit towards your prestige, all right? Which is kind of the PvP thing if you're doing, or excuse me, not PvP, sorry. The prestige is a separate thing. These are both experience, okay? And these are both for your group. This one is for your fellowship's experience, okay? So mind you, fellowship experience is something that it's this little thing right here when it levels up on the side there. That's another thing. We're not really going to worry about that today. That's not really important. What I'm going to focus on is commander XP, all right? And we're going to focus on, and not prestige. Prestige is something when you're doing PvP, just as a side note. For example, this is a pretty good fight. This is prestige, okay? This is like your renown for the season. It helps you give credit for you are doing PvP, all right? Some fellowships will ask for information about that. But anyway, you want to know about the XP. So the XP is this one, right? Commander's XP. This is what's important, but you need to juggle it well with stamina. Now, if you're a newer player that only has a couple characters, but that's okay. For example, I have almost all the characters, and I still only use about 12 characters, some of them for tips, right? I focus on my main two characters at the starting of a season. For right now, I'm playing Rohan. I'm using Theoden as my main commander. But as you can see, Gimli, I've barely used him to take many tiles, but he's very high level. How did I do that? What am I using for the stamina, right? It's all a balancing act, this game. You really need to know how to balance, when to attack tiles, all that stuff. I have other guides on tile taking. So really, every character is going to have 100 stamina. You can increase that stamina through the ring power, right? The ring power that gives you more stamina right here for your commanders, up to 30 more. Excuse me, everyone has 120, then it adds 30. So the biggest thing is when you're first taking tiles is have one commander really be the one taking all the main tiles. He will be leveling up as you go, okay? Once you get to about a level 200 tile, that is when you want to start, whoever's your second commander, who might have been helping you take a little bit of tiles here and there too, as you know, those two commanders are taking tiles, or let's say you have a third commander you're going to be using. Have him start mock battling. You want to, again, use your stamina as efficiently as possible. So one of your commanders is really going to always want to be taking tiles early in the game, right? You're going to want to be doing that. You might need someone that's doing PvP. So right now, my one commander that takes my biggest tiles, Theoden, I've actually been sending him to the PvP front too over here. We're having a battle with Isengard, right? So I've been sending him over there to do combat. And by the way, the combats give prestige and XP for your commander. So you're still doing good with your stamina to get XP that way. But I've been saving, as much as I could be sending Gimli to fight at the front too, I personally don't have enough troops to do it. I just run out of troops, right? And I don't have dwarves yet. I'm trying to get to dwarves with my upgrades. So what I've been doing is, once I got my 200 tile, I've just been putting Gimli on there to just do mock battles, right? That's the great way to get your XP up, right? I have a whole video on mock battles. But then I also will send occasionally for a tip, right? I will send one of my commanders for a tip. So if you have a lot of commanders, don't just send any commander. Make sure you're specifically checking. Now, in case if you do have an issue like this where I'm not using any of my elf commanders right now, I try to use just the same ones. So what you can do later, since I'm using the same two over and over in tips when this happens, is I can use them as path clearers, okay? What does that mean by a path clearer? Or a pather, as people call it. It means that you're there to kind of clear little tiles, right? If you have a big army, you can stop someone's super giant boss by just taking little tiles around him until he runs out of stamina, trying to take tiles back. So a lot of times, your main fighter, right? For example, my Theoden, I'll send him to the front with 2 other small armies that are just level 10s, right? My Theoden's level 37 right now. I might send, you know, Falcon and someone else with a couple more troops on the side, all to the front, just so when I'm fighting at the front, I could send Theoden in, for example, into a tile to attack this big tile or something. And then all these little tiles that would be a problem because they're going to send more troops across, I'll have my other commanders clear those, right? So again, it's a stamina control thing. You really need to think about using your stamina well. Now, here's another thing. What happens if you need to position in multiple locations at once, right? For example, we have lots of different fronts. I wanted to do multiple locations. I sent a commander out to one fort, right one of my lower levels, with just a little bit of troops, and another one to another fort, and I sent one to the front. So I had people fighting on the front. I had people doing a tile. I had several commanders out building forts on different fronts that I wanted to all at the same time. Again, you shouldn't be using that one. If you're a newer player, don't just use one commander to do everything. He won't be able to. So make sure you have focuses on what commander is doing what. Again, it matters. This is why I tied in XP and stamina, okay? Because these things do matter. When you're using stamina up, right, there's only a certain amount of things your commander can do. Right, with that 150 stamina, let's say you have your upgrade on the ring, right? You have 150. And it takes 20 to move or do an action, right? Of course, you can refresh it and you lose only 10, but you want to finish your action usually. Take the tile, attack the thing, right? So make sure your main guy is either doing a PvP fight, fighting only other big armies that you think you can take, or I should say, be taking tiles, right? So maybe your biggest guy should be trying to take your strongest tiles at the time. Maybe it's 150s you can take. Maybe he can take 200s, right? He might need a backup commander, right, to take it just in case. Always have another commander ready just in case, even if he's a low-level commander, because if that tile, if you don't take it, you only have a few seconds till it resets. Maybe you can use your little guy to just take off those last few troops, right, to take the tile. So, but again, it's all about the stamina and XP balance. So you want your main commander, whoever's taking all the tiles early, he's going to be the one leveling up, right? My Theoden got all the levels, pretty much, and my Thorin early, all right? They were doing all my tile taking. But Gimli didn't do almost any tile taking. Well, the reason he's so high level is because I've just been throwing him on the 200 mock battling him for 2 days straight now. All right, so whenever his stamina is up, I throw him there. My other commanders, whenever my stamina is up for my Theoden, he either goes to the front to do some PvP, or he is taking big tiles for me. Same thing with my Thorin. My other commanders that I will use later, because I'll probably use 4 or 5 by the end of the season when we're all PvPing. I'll probably be using, you know, I've tried to level up my Gothmog so he can, remember, he's really good at sieging things, so I use him to take buildings, right, or break things down. He's also great fighting, but I don't have him built for that. You know, Balin, Thorin, and you know, Ori, Falcon, all these other people that I use. You know me, I use a lot of dwarves. Dwalin, I'm using them right now to just help take little tiles, help clear things, help do tasks, right? Again, I want to get their XP up, but I also don't want to waste the time of my Theoden and my Gimli, who are my main characters, doing tasks. So a lot of times I'll go in here and I'll just be like, okay, well, I'm going to throw on, okay, you know, I'm also going to use Dane later probably. So I'll go ahead and put on Falcon, give him some experience. Mind you, one thing I have found, which is kind of important for everyone to know, if it's something that gives 2 slots for, I'm going to give you an example right now. So again, I wouldn't want to use my Theoden, because I want to use my Theoden right now to go take tiles or go do other things, or PvP, right? So I don't want to make him stuck there for an hour. So I'm going to use another person. Again, I do use some of the ones that are designed for doing good on tips, like Faramir or these other people too. But that's up to you. But again, if you can, if you know you're going to use the character in the future, you might as well get the XP on the character that matters, right? So for example, I'll probably use Ori in the future, so I'm going to put Ori in there. Now, for example, I need to take my daily thing here, right? Should I use my Theoden's little 60 to go take that? No. I'm going to use someone else to go. I'm going to send Balin. Though actually, I'm not sure if... does it take up? It does. See, it takes 20 of your stamina. Just double checking myself there real quick. So Balin, I don't mind if he goes, he'll get the XP and he'll take that. Great. Now, if you want your main character to get the XP because you only have 2 commanders, let's say you're brand new to the game, you might have to do that, right? You might have to wait longer in between. But if we're being efficient with your stamina, you want to spread your stamina out. Realize that every single one of your commanders has 150 stamina. So, but at the same time, realize that you need to focus on getting the mass XP on 2 or 3 commanders, right? They need to be getting up to level 40 as soon as you can, level 40, 45, 50, right? So again, my goal is taking big tiles to give a lot of XP, big PvP battles. My strongest characters are doing that, right? Now, they'll probably also end up helping me take my 230 tile, which I'll probably be doing soon, right? These two, because I can probably easily do it right now. I just don't have enough troops yet. But my other commanders, I still want them to be leveling up slowly, so I might have them do tips while these guys are out of stamina, my main commanders, right? That kind of thing. Now, here's one more thing about XP that's really, really important, okay? When you go into here, and I'm going to get some more here. I want to double for you guys to show you something. All right, this one doesn't have a double. Are any of these a double? All right, I'm gonna spend 400 gems just to show you this for the video because this is kind of important. Okay, well, let's see. Can we get a double? This is a double? Ah, double. All right, so this is really important. See how this gives 10,000 XP? All right, some characters you can click and they will fill in as 2 commanders. It doesn't say it right now, but he counts as a 2 of 2 when he uses this thing. Also, Merry and Pippin, Frodo and Sam, when you upgrade their ability, they count as 2 commanders. So what happens is they're able to take up both the slots. So now I can't even add another 1 commander. Well, here's the problem. They're going to take 10,000 XP as a combo commander because they're basically just 1 commander. And you can actually, if you put 2 commanders here, you will get 10,000 for both. So you're actually kind of limiting your XP a little bit there. Okay, so, and I do not believe it doubles. If it does, leave a comment if you know that, but I've not tested that, but I don't think it doubles the XP. I think you just get flat 10,000 either way. So what you can do is send in one of your level 1s first and then click Frodo and Sam. I know, it's super simple, right? Super silly. Now it says 3 out of 2. You could still send this. Both groups will get 10,000 XP now. Okay, side note, that's really important though if you're a new player because I think that's a weird thing that that's even a thing. But again, like, look, I'm going to send Balin first, then I'm going to send the Hobbits. So they both get the full XP, right? And again, some of these characters, again, he's good at doing tips. So I usually use Denethor as a tip person too. And again, some of these characters, like for example, this character, right? He's great at tips, but he's also great at sieging. So it's good to let him do tips early, level him up with tips, and then you can use him to siege in the future, right? So these are the kind of things you got to think about as you go. And it really will help you tremendously, guys. Realize all your commanders have lots and lots of stamina, right? But each commander only has 150. So how do you do it to balance it? So this is the kind of stuff you have to think ahead, right? Who are you going to waste as your pathers, right? Those people that you're not going to be your main guy fighting. They're going to just take tiles for you, right? So you send them out, go do forts with them, build forts places, that kind of thing. Do tips with them. And then with your main commanders, make sure whoever one of your main commanders is taking your tiles, or 2 commanders if you have 2 taking tiles. They're going to get most of the XP then when they're doing that. And PvP, you're going to get a bunch of XP there. And then whoever maybe your character is going to be your main PvP guy, but you know he's not really good at taking tiles. Once you get to that 200 tile, like my Gimli, I send him and I just mock battle him. Well, Theoden keeps taking tiles, and I have, Theoden going to the war front. And now in a little while, my Gimli is going to go fight in PvP, right? Because that's what he's good at. So that is kind of the thing that you want to do. Again, this is my Gimli. He's pretty powerful. That's what you got to think about. That's good to focus on, okay? So hopefully this helped you out. We did this in under 15 minutes. And a quick little talk and chat there. So again, balance your stamina, all right? This is just an overview. If you want a more in-depth, step-by-step guide, I can do that for you guys. Just leave a comment. What do you like? Throw a like on there if I earned it. And that's what Zollin wanted me to remind you guys. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day in Middle-earth. And thanks for joining me. And I'm your hosting guide, Zollin Ironshield, as always. And Zollin picked out another video up there for you, RiseToWar. And over there, he says, I think it's a LOTR tale. So check them all out. Thank you to my wonderful Patreons for their support. We got a new Iron Guard. Thank you for your support, my friend. And thank you, Skumley, for being a Royal Guard. And I'll see you all in the next episodes of Voice of the Ring. Subscribe button's there if I earned it. Have a great day in Middle-earth, my friends. See ya.